Can you hear me? I can hear you.
I've got
Thank you, dear. Thank you. Hello, hello.
Fred, we're talking about fast bowling. Why there aren't any today? Are they picking the right ones around the counties? Are there other ones that England aren't picking?
Well, the first thing I shall say is I was a substitute for Alan Moss, Frank Tyson, but never for Bob Willis.
I don't say that. Steve, I never thought you'd be doing this to me.
Oh, no, nor did I. You look very nice, actually.
Thank you, matey. I know, I'm very worried about him. I don't work for TCCB, so I'm probably okay.
Just go, whoops. That's it. Is that all right?
Forget about the interview with all that powder on, I'll kiss him.
All right, we're standing by then.
Fred will kiss him, I'll give him the high five.
Fred, you're okay?
Yes, I'm all right, yeah.
All right. Sticky, have a bit of sticky. Have a bit of sticky.
Just put my arm round Jack and look as though he's just got a wicket.
This is for grandstand, Fred.
It's grandstand later on.
Is it?
Okay, here we go then. Here we go. Look.
And good afternoon, welcome back to Edgbaston. Another day dominated by Australia's spin bowlers. And I've been joined now by a couple of colleagues, Fred Trueman from the radio box and of course Jack Bannister, familiar to television viewers, to debate the lack of English fast bowlers. Why aren't there any more? Fred Trueman, why is that? I know it's a difficult question, but why do you think there aren't any English fast bowlers anymore?
Well, I don't know, Jonathan. If I knew the answer, I wouldn't be here talking to you, would I? You know, I would be able to put the job right. I just don't know the answer and why there aren't any. I mean, all the incentives are there. Money, fame, everything is there. I mean, I don't know what the answer is at all, whether it's soft living or what. I just can't put my finger on it, but don't tell me that there are not fast bowlers out there somewhere. We've just got to go out and find them.
Well, Jack, are there? You're a journalist on the trail throughout the season. Are England picking the right fast bowlers at the moment? Are there some out there in county cricket?
Well, I think I agree with Fred.
Well, I think you're right, Jake. There's got to be fast bowlers out there, mate.
Well, you see, part of the trouble the England selectors have had is clearly the pitches they're playing on. And this one here, all the grass went, and so we didn't need any fast bowlers. I mean, I wouldn't actually have picked two that they actually did. I'd have gone in with more spinners than that. But where the fast bowlers are, as Fred said, I agree with him. They're out there somewhere, but...
But over the years, Jack, playing on this wicket here, let's be very fair about it. Yourself, a seam bowler, Tom Cartwright, a seam bowler, you know, Gladstone Small, moved it around a little bit. I mean, don't you think that the selectors would have come to you and said to Jack Bannister or Dennis Amos or Bob Willis or whoever, with all this experience at Edgbaston, and said, well, no, you don't want spinners. Seamers can do a bit as well.
Let's establish one thing. Were there fast bowlers before? Now, we've got one sitting here in Fred Trueman, but were there out-and-out quick bowlers who were playing county cricket and cricket for England previously?
Well, of course there was. Frank Tyson, Brian Statham, Jack Favell, Les Jackson, myself, other bowlers around the place that could bowl a little bit sharp. I mean, Tom Pritchard, am I right in saying Tom Pritchard got more wickets than the fast bowler since the war in one season, than like 185, Jack?
Yeah.
On this wicket?
Absolutely right, yeah. Yeah.
That's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I bet one of my best test performances was on this wicket. It was something like, I don't know, Bill will put me right if we ask him, 7 for 42 or 7 for 44 against West Indies on this very wicket.
All right, but in those days, the selectors whistled down a coal mine, apparently. Up popped a fast bowler.
Oh, that's
is that one of the reasons why there aren't fast bowlers anymore?
No, that's a load of rubbish, that is, you know. I think what we've got to get over, Jack, the message is fast bowlers are born, not made, aren't they?
I think partly. Only partly. I think you can do something even if somebody's not born that way. I mean, look at John himself. I mean, he wouldn't have said he... Well, I mean, he wasn't genuinely quick, but he's played for England. He made himself into some sort of bowler.
But I slowed down, and I think this is
You
the point.
slowed down?
I slowed down deliberately because I thought that the system these days doesn't actually
You
encourage you
slowed
to
down.
bowl fast.
You slowed down.
I made a conscious decision to bowl medium fast, simply because the daily grind of county cricket and the one-day cricket didn't actually do much to encourage you to bowl quickly.
He said he slowed down. I didn't know you'd ever speed it up. I know, but no, that's besides the point, John. No, one thing about it, John, is that you are one of the few bowlers who got 100 wickets in a season. I think, did you do it twice?
I nearly did it twice, but yeah.
So, well, I remember you doing it once, you know, and you still didn't play for England then. So you were going through the same sort of process we're going through today. No, that's fair to say, but yes, you did get 100 wickets in a season. I remember that. I thought you'd done it twice. I'm sorry about that.
But do you think, Jack, that the present county system actually does little to encourage fast bowlers, particularly now with the extended Sunday League?
Yes. Yeah. I think that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I don't.
Why?
You know, well, sorry. The way I look at it is that county cricket, with all these bloody false declarations and things that take place.
Not
you
in
know.
Sundays.
No, not on a Sunday, but, well, I heard one of the former England captains speaking the other day and saying, you know, people don't want to be running up and bowling flat out for 10 overs on a Sunday. Why?
Well, I remember a few days when you got through 10 overs in a day.
I'd have been delighted to have got through 10 overs in a day, if that's all I'd had to bowl, yeah. But I get fed up of listening to people talking about the too much cricket, and then you look and somebody's bowled 580 overs in a season. You know what I mean? Well, I used to bowl 1,000, 1,050, 1,100, and that's how I think I learned to bowl.
Did you?
Well,
Yeah.
I might have learned to bowl. I got a few wickets, I know that, but that's
Yeah.
besides the point.
Yeah.
But
The
I
last-
reckon by bowling, I learned to bowl.
The last great fast bowler that England had was undoubtedly Bob Willis, but he, I think it's fair to say, didn't bowl that much for Warwickshire, did he? I think the Warwickshire members would have agreed with that he did save himself for England.
Yeah, I mean, I did a history of Warwickshire, and we examined all the match records, and no, I mean, Bob bowled more for England than he did
Yes, I did, yeah.
for Warwickshire, didn't he?
Well, once I was here, once Yorkshire were playing here, I think it was when young Stevenson got 100 at number 11. And I was amazed, you know, that Bob Willis was playing for England and captain of Warwickshire, and he came on to bowl at this very end where we were sitting, and the crowd was shouting bowler's name, please. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
We don't seem to have answered many questions so far, do we? I know it's a difficult one, but what can be done by England to find fast bowlers these days? It's the case in this Test match where Australia reduced to 80 for 4 in all sorts of trouble. Someone had to come on and knock the tail over, and it didn't happen. What can be done to produce fast bowlers in England these days? There must be an answer.
Well, we didn't have two fast bowlers here. You know, we've got one bowler who runs up faster than he bowls, and the other one who, according to the
Which one's that?
Bicknell.
Oh, yeah.
He runs up faster than he, but run-up's far too long, runs
Yeah.
too straight. And then we've got this fella Eilert, of course, who's been taught by a physiotherapist down in Essex to put his foot in the wrong place, and that's why he can't swing it. But
Come on, Jane.
I don't know where the answer
Well,
is.
Well, let's find a fast bowler. How? How can England find a fast bowler? There must be a way. There must be
Go
some.
with the West Indies.
Well, it's difficult because, I mean, Leicestershire last year, when they had one injury, suddenly you end up back in the side. So if a county's, with
That
due
desperate, yeah.
respect, down to that,
Yeah.
where are the counties going to go to find
Is it a
fast
question
bowlers?
of cricket in schools? Is it cricket in clubs? Is it youngsters in clubs who aren't encouraged to come through and play? What is the answer?
Don't know what the answer is. Deal? I've no idea. I mean, I've looked round.
I've honestly thought about this for some while, and the more you think, the more you realise that I don't think there's any answer. I think socially life's moved on, and I don't think really that there's any incentives. You talk about money, but kids can go and get money somewhere else. I don't think there's any incentive. I don't think there is an answer.
But why did you become a fast bowler, Fred?
Well, because I was skint and desperate and came from a poor family, I suppose.
But was it because you'd also watched other fast bowlers playing for England and
Oh,
got the idea
I've
and
never
then
seen
thought,
one. What are you on about? See, now you see you're about getting through the grit. I mean, when I was a kid born out in the middle of the sticks, way down the bottom end of South Yorkshire, just 400 yards inside the Yorkshire border, I would have been in Lincolnshire or Trent Bridge, Nottinghamshire. I never saw first-class cricket. I never saw a first-class cricket ground till I walked on one at Headingley in 1947.
Well, my point is then that if young fast bowlers or young potential fast bowlers these days haven't got anyone to idolise or look up to, looking at the present England
Oh, I
team,
knew
then what
about-
future is there?
I knew about Larwood and Vos in 1938-9 when I was a kid, and I used to see. I was only born about 11 miles from Harold Larwood, 12 miles, and I knew about Harold Larwood. I mean,
Well-
we'd had the Bodyline series in the
Yeah.
32-3 and all that business. You see, so I knew about that because that was a talk at the cricket dinners when I was a kid.
I mean, the reason you went slow or slower, you've
That's
got
better.
nobody to idolise. You hadn't.
No.
Well, there's your answer, isn't it? I mean, you're asking for an answer, and that's about it.
Well, that's it, because obviously his family couldn't afford a television set. You know, I mean, I heard all about Jonathan because they said he came from a poor family, and when and I heard about the health inspector visiting his house, you know.
Hey?
Yeah, I did, yeah, about rats in the cellar. True story, don't know this about Jonathan. The true
I don't.
story about the
No.
rats in the
Go
cellar.
on.
And when the health inspector was there, there was a salmon jumped out of the wall and grabbed a piece of lettuce. And the health inspector, did you see that? And Jonathan's father said, yeah, I'll talk to you about the damp course next week.
Oh dear.
Well-
Oh dear.
Well, we've criticised the selectors for picking, or not picking fast bowlers. I don't think we've come up with any ideas at all here.
I think
gentlemen.
we have. I mean, I think it's been sorted out to some degree, don't you?
I quite agree with Jack. I mean, to some degree, somewhere out there, Jonathan, there has to be fast bowlers. I mean, real, genuine, quick bowlers.
Yeah.
Has to be.
I mean, this sort of, what do you call it, interview can spark somebody off, surely, can it?
Well, it ought to do.
Well, let's hope so. But, gentlemen, I think at the moment we'll have to wrap that up because we don't seem to be answering or coming up with too many answers to this one. It's a problem, obviously, for the selectors to sort out. We think that something has to be done to encourage young fast bowlers. But for now, gentlemen, thanks very much.
It's very nice to be with you, Jonathan, and Jack, of course. Jack and I.
Who's set me up? Somebody's set me up. Somebody's set me up.
They haven't. What are you on about, set?
Somebody's set me up. That was a setup. That was a setup. That was a setup, wasn't it? Bastard! That was a setup. You bastards! I've had a cold sweat.
Sorry about that.
You weren't even answering the question. Did you know about this?
Yeah. But it wasn't a set-up. I was told to come and talk
sweat.
seriously. That's why I did.
Johnston, where is he? Yes,
Oh, was that all right, boys?
that's Johnston. It must be. Someone set me up. Johners, you bastard. God. Oh. God. Oh.